The ability to emotionally connect with the audience is one of the most difficult things you can do as a filmmaker. With the addition of iconic and recognizable characters and locations, Up is without a doubt one of Disney Pixar's greatest films. But in a movie saturated with colorful characters and unforgettable plot points, how is it that the house and balloon silhouette stands as the most prominent symbol of the film? I think most of us can agree that the house represents more than just a shelter. The way the house is portrayed and the architecture is executed, the structure in a way illustrates themes of relationship, love, and journey. In this video, not only will I be analysing the deeper lying motifs portrayed by Carl and Ellie's house, but I'll also be analysing the structure from an architectural perspective. This is Analysing Architecture. When the house is presented throughout the movie, we see many physical elements that symbolises Carl and Ellie's journey, and most prominently, their relationship together. In a unique way, this visual form sort of enhances their story in the film. The architectural style of this house is portrayed almost as a caricature of the traditional American craftsman style, similar to the exaggerated features of Carl's square head and Ellie's round face. The house distinguishes itself from the rest of the world through the exaggerated structural and visual elements, such as the high-pitched gable roof and the bright-coloured paint job. It's interesting to see the filmmakers incorporate this style in particular. Assuming the house was constructed sometime in the 18th to 1900s, there's a possibility that the house would have been in a Cape Cod, colonial, or even a ranch style. The use of the craftsman aesthetic specifically reminisces on the simplicity and humility of the American dream, presenting not only a feeling of nostalgia, but clearly showcasing a resistance to change. Just everything about this style and the way it's executed in a cartoonish depiction creates a cozy feeling, which reflects Ellie's warmth towards Carl. Not only does this style set the tone of their relationship in the film, but it also establishes a timeline of events. When the audience is first introduced to the two characters interacting together, the building is presented as withered and unkempt, kind of symbolizing the start of a friendship. As we see Carl and Ellie grow together, we see a few changes within the facade, an example being the bright-coloured walls that represent times of happiness, fulfillment, and adventure. And although we see the two grow old in the beginning montage, the aging of the structure and its tone visualizes what point in time we're in. Following the passing of Ellie, the house becomes faded, symbolizing a feeling of loss. The muted and dull colours resonate well with Carl's grief and emotional stagnation. In a house that was once filled with colour and warmth, is now left incomplete. Much like how Carl feels a loss of vibrancy without Ellie, this is reflected directly in the tone and the age of the house. I think another great point that gets brought up is the use of the interior space. The implementation of small trinkets and furnishing adds such a personal touch to their shared experience together. Having the two individualized, two chairs, circles and squares, builds contrast and depth within the two characters, and again adds to the symbolic nature of their relationship created by the house. The floor plan in itself, compared to the other buildings I've analysed on this channel, is coherent and functional. Having a main hallway/lobby space that's connected comfortably to the kitchen, study and living room creates a great flow of movement and circulation. Even placing the bathroom on the second floor makes it easily accessible from the bedroom, which is quite good considering we see their age catch up to them. Everything from the colour, shape and design of the house beautifully symbolizes their relationship. However, when we look at the architecture through a different lens, we get a completely new perspective. Although the house physically shows no resemblance to Ellie, it does hold the memories and the unfulfilled dreams the two once had. The house itself is almost a character in the story, embodying the love, dreams, and shared experience of the two. As Carl lifts the desaturated house with the bright coloured balloons, the house represents his desire to hold on to Ellie and their shared dream of adventure. The house's journey to Paradise Falls reflects Carl's determination to honour Ellie's memory and fulfill this dream. The house, floating across the landscape, becomes a metaphor for Carl carrying the weight of his memories and grief. As the structure floats across the modern buildings, high-rises and construction, we once again see Carl's resistance to change in contrast of the traditional craftsman-styled house against the modern-styled buildings, acting almost as an analogy for Carl's inability to let go of this style, or rather, his grief. Towards the end of the movie, Carl makes the hard decision to ultimately let go of the house, allowing it to drift away. This act symbolizes his acceptance of Ellie's passing and his decision to move forward in life. By releasing the house, Carl frees himself from the burden of the past and opens up to new experiences and relationships. I love how this house not only stands as the focal point of the movie, but also elevates the storytelling and subtle motifs presented to the audience. Considering how interesting the characters are and how emotional the story becomes, I think Pixar's Up is a perfect example of how architecture in media can be used so creatively. From how detailed the exterior and interior space is, to the emotional connection built within. The filmmakers not only designed a visually iconic house, but they also created a vessel that represents the movie's themes of dreams, loss, journey, and love.